It's the 23rd of August, and since 2017, I've been waiting for the government to address the failings that have been occurring. My concern this morning, on the 23rd of August 2021, is the issue of these matters not being addressed, and the issue of bigger issues being caused that are really irresponsible for any democratic leaders, democratic politicians, etc., in a modern democracy. So, as I have a clean track record, I'm just really wondering how it's justified or excused that a democratic premise is not being applied to a very unjust, inexcusable, and unforgivable offence against an innocent child and mother. I'm wondering how any respectable, democratic individuals could excuse the offences or explain the offences that are occurring. So there's a process and a procedure in a democracy, and especially with regard to unjust actions or incidents of offence. Now, as I have a clean track record and as I'm experiencing very dangerous offences that the government have been requested to acknowledge since 2017, I'm wondering how the democratic process would normally treat these situations where a beginning point has commenced in 2017 and it is 2021, and there is still an exacerbatory process occurring, and there is still a very dangerously irresponsible mentality about the offences that I have unjustifiably experienced. So the entire issue that is occurring revolves around incidents of identity theft, professional theft, my credentials, my qualifications, my experiences, achievements, and accomplishments have been assaulted. My role as a mother has been assaulted. My role as a wife has been intruded upon and disrespected. Now, I'm wondering how any self respecting democratic representatives in a modern day society, in a neutral country, are facilitating such bad practices. I'd love to know the explanation for those that are accommodating these very dangerous offences and disrespecting my accomplishments and achievements, my position and my title and my role and my functions and such and so forth. So I'm really curious this morning how the democratic process is going to treat the very dangerous offences occurring in Tralee, County Kerry, Ireland against a baby boy since he was 2 years of age in 2017. I'm wondering how the democratic process is going to treat the issue of bad faith and bad practices and bad procedures against a professional, qualified property owner. I'm really curious about how the democratic process is going to be mature and fit for purpose in a matter of royal patronage and treason. I'm wondering how the democratic process is going to prove itself to be mature and fit for purpose. So, as a qualified professional of a very clean track record, I'd really be appreciative of individuals being mature and realistic, because there's been a lot of fallacy and silly nonsense, but worst of all, there's been a lot of dangerous theft and intrusion and slander. Slander is very dangerous against a clean track record. So any record, especially of huge accomplishments for humanitarianism as well, I might add. So I'm just wondering how the democratic process is fit for purpose this morning. There's a process that was commenced in 2017 and it's now 2021. So I'm wondering how successful these representatives are that aren't actually displaying mature, responsible, intelligent behaviour, are in a position to be in denial or refuting their responsibilities when they're only representatives and when they have obligations to royal patronage in this country. So I'm just wondering what their perspective is this morning when they're of evasion and avoidance. It's quite dangerous what's happened to my child. So as my child had perfect care in my care, I'm really curious about how there has been an obstruction of ombudsman to accommodate guilty culprits. And I'm wondering about the calibre of the representatives of the democracy that are only representatives. They are not in the same calibre of categories as royal patronage. And I'm wondering, do they understand their role and their obligations? I'm really curious this morning about the fit for purpose stance of those representatives that have disrespected my baby boy and my nuptials and my property and my health, my well-being, my privacy, etc., my achievements on the greater scheme of things at home and abroad. So I'm wondering who's thinking they're greater than God. I'm wondering who's thinking they're greater than the greater scheme of things. And I'm wondering how fit for purpose these individuals are with their short memories of recent developments that could have caused very further extensive damages and suffering and loss. So this is just a little upload for the general interest of the Irish public with regard to failings in the democratic process in a modern day and age against a mother and child experiencing treason in Tralee County, Kerry, Ireland.